Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, and your brother Ashe SJ. Will be joining us shortly. Brother Tad is on assignment this week, so he will be returning next week. Brother Ashe and Brother Blacksmith are on their way in. So I'm glad to see all of you back with us again this week. I hope everybody is doing well. Shout out to my family who's always checking in and checking up on me. We've been going through a lot in the family right now. So everybody, please keep us in your prayers. But I'm here nevertheless. I made it on time at that. So it's a good thing. That means the ancestors want me to be here. So I'm here. I hope you all had a good week so far. I hope everything is going well with you. And if not, then I hope that things get better because it's too much craziness going on out here. And we definitely got a lot to discuss tonight. So I definitely had to come on with the New York cap because we about to come with some New York heavy hitting tonight. Some things have been happening in the news. You have Joe Rogan making some crazy comments, but we already knew that. Now the hand is not no longer behind him, so he can't hide his hand no more. You have the protests that have been going on in the wake. The video released the killing of our brother Amir Locke. So that has been going on. You have Joe Biden, who can't give us reparations, but he want to give you some crack pipes though. So we're gonna get into all of that. Also, in the news, it seems that those of us who speak against the U.S. government and their tactics against the people, in particular African people, are deemed to be terrorists. But it is what it is. We're going to get into all of that. Also, again, I can't stress this enough. I keep telling y'all, stack up on supplies. Trust me, the summertime is going to get worse than what you see now. So, we're going to get into all of that. Then Brother Blacksmith got some interesting news for all of us as it relates to, this thing with Ghislaine Maxwell and some other folks. So we're going to deal with all of that. And also, it is still Black History Month. So we definitely got to touch on all of that. So I'm going to give some shout outs real quick and we're going to get started with Black History. How about that? Sister Patricia, shout out to you. Hope everything is well on your end. Sister Farnessa, always good to see you on the check-in. I'm ready, sis. We about to go all the way in tonight, Brother Tad is on assignment, so there's no holds barred tonight. We going in. Shout out to you, Sister Marie. I'm glad that you're tuning in because one of the Black History pieces has to deal with someone out of Baltimore. So we'll deal with that later on in the broadcast. Oh, you like the Thorough Black Talk shirt? Definitely. I could definitely get that for you. Shout out to Brother Peace, my older brother from another mother, always on a check-in. It's always good to see and hear from you. Hope everything is going well down in North Kakalaki. You stay safe down there. Old Crack Pipe Joe, that's what he is. Old Crack Pipe Joe. He can't give you no reparations. Can't give you no tangibles. Can't get the Voting Rights Act passed. Can't get nothing. I mean, no hate crime bills, no nothing. But he can get you some crack pipes, though. It's crazy. So, yes. So, we got a lot to discuss tonight. So, I wanted to start tonight, family, with the Black History piece because, people come from all over the world to live in this country, to prosper in this country. And no one likes to give credit where credit is due. This country would not be if it wasn't for Black people, if it wasn't for Africans, if it wasn't for Black people breaking their backs, this country would not be. They couldn't have a place to come to. No immigrant would have a place to come to. We popped it off. We made it lit. We still make it lit. Black American culture is one of the most exported commodities on the planet. Is Black American culture. So we're going back to 1492. I got to give you something from the beginning because I want you to connect the dots with some of the things that Brother Ashe and Brother Blacksmith and myself will be discussing later on tonight. Let me give a quick shout out to Brother Ray Ray and the Brooklyn William Mackey Jr. History Club last night, family. If you missed it, you missed it. Professor Trust Graham was in the building. Matter of fact, I think I got a clip. Is it all right, Brother Ray Ray, if I play a clip? I think Brother Ray Ray would be all right with that. I got a clip because one of the things I love about Brother Trust is that he gives you the blueprint on how you should study, what history is, what evidence is, and how you should use it in your quest for knowledge. But why hear from me when I got the clip from Trust Graham? You know what I'm saying? Hold on, family. Here we go.
I mean, evidence is material remains of something or an event. Listen, evidence are the material remains of something or an event. The interpretation of that evidence is called a fact. That's correct. Now, anybody who says anything different, I'll challenge you. I don't care how many alphabets you got behind your name, all that. One thing for sure, there was, how I got onto this was, what had happened was, this was a few years back when that guy, woman Kellyanne Conway, that was with Donald Trump, and she had made this statement about alternative facts. And they went after her, every individual. So I had a guy came to me who was talking about it, and he said that, could you imagine, she said that there's alternative facts. So I said, it is. So she said, you believe that? You? And then when I explained it to him, and I'm telling you that, I explained it to him, and I'm telling you this, that Kellyanne Conway didn't make that statement because of my explanation. She don't know shit about that. She's going with the traditional definition of what it is to have a fact.
So, family, once Brother Ray Ray get the whole thing set up, then he said it'll be on the YouTube in a little while. So once he sends it to me, I'll always put it on the Thorough Black Talk Facebook page so you guys could catch it. History is based on evidence. That's what Trust Graham was saying. Evidence is something you can prove or persuade, if you will, by the preponderance of such. Sometimes when we look at history, we only like to look at the good parts. But you got to look at history in its totality. You got to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly, because when you negate certain parts of history, you have a distorted view. And you can only document certain things as history if it's backed up by evidence. Written, oral, pictorial, architectural, agricultural, whatever. It has to be backed up by evidence. So let's deal with some real evidence, shall we? The history of Black folks in this country and the enslavement of Black folks in this country real quick. And then we're going to discuss it and move on. Hold on, family. Here you go.
Promised lands of plenty where everything would just, run free and there would be this abundant wealth just waiting for them.
As Europeans mastered the oceans, others sailed in Columbus's wake.
For generations, you have people crossing the Atlantic from Europe who are dreaming of America and the life it might give.
The Spanish were the first to establish a permanent settlement in what we now know as Florida. The French soon followed, but the British were in hot pursuit.
The first English men settled in what they saw as the New World in North America in 1607, some who saw themselves as adventurers. They settled the colony of Jamestown in present-day Virginia. Given that they were men of leisure generally, they didn't have the skills or the knowledge to make a colony survive. In about a decade, 80% had perished. And just at the point when it was looking like Britain's first North American settlement was going to fail, they find that they can grow tobacco. And all of a sudden, that colony begins to boom and grow.
This first British colony opened a gateway to a new life.
The first settlers had this sort of image of themselves as people who were fleeing the old world, and they were building this shining city on a hill that was going to be a beacon to the rest of humanity.
Everybody can live their dream. This is a land full of opportunities.
And that's such a shaping influence on the United States.
The first African slaves came into the Jamestown colony in 1619.
That first ship carried around 20 slaves.
And therein really begins the history of slavery in America.
George Washington was a slave owner. Thomas Jefferson, third president, was a slave owner. The phrase from the Constitution is all men are created equal. And it's there that we see the first inherent contradiction.
Women are excluded. The indigenous population is excluded. Enslaved Africans are also excluded.
That refusal to recognize the essential humanity of black people runs right the way through American history.
The America we know today, one of the richest, most powerful democracies in the world, was built on the backs of slaves.
If you want to become a world power, you can't go too far wrong by integrating a program of almost limitless free labor.
In the 17th and 18th centuries, African slaves mainly worked on the tobacco plantations in the South. But by the early 19th century, this had given way to cotton plantations as huge demand for cotton grew in America and Europe.
They're trading by the mid-19th century in the millions of bales every year.
And to actually meet that global demand, there is an increased demand for slave labor. It's an economic system as well. It's actually going to, in many ways, drive the destiny of the country.
The property value of slaves increases too.
Those who are seen as healthy and fit are considered prized possessions.
A slave economy is what enables America to really begin to build the extraordinary wealth that it still benefits from today.
By 1860, America's slave population had reached nearly 4 million. Resulting in an incredible explosion of the country's financial power.
The collective wealth held in America's 4 million African American slaves was roughly $3 billion, which was more than the combined value of all the railroads and the factories in the country combined.
Now, first of all, and shout out to You Got Ripped Off. Definitely, we occurred even before that because I did some research on the early Africans here in New York City that even goes back to that time you got ripped off. So you definitely right on that. But as he said in this piece, land had absolutely no wealth until you put a slave on it. Of all of the thriving economies in the U.S. at that time, in the colonies, at that time, it quadrupled once you put a slave on it. And people today have the audacity to say that reparations is not owed. When you have immigrant people who come from different parts of the world to the U.S. and don't owe and say they don't owe African Americans nothing, how dare you? You wouldn't have a country to come to. You wouldn't have an economy to thrive under if we didn't build it. That's what they said in their piece. And again, we're using it for educational purposes. You two don't try to pull me down. But that's what they said. The founding fathers of this nation thrived under slave labor. How is it that we are not owed reparations? And when people say silly things like that, oh, I don't want reparations, or, the US today or nations today don't owe reparations for what happened in the past. Try not paying the IRS. Let's say you ain't filed your taxes or didn't pay taxes in the year 2015. You think the IRS ain't coming to see you for that debt in 2015 or 2016 or whatever? If you didn't believe in paying debt, you wouldn't pay bills. You pay utility bills, you pay your rents, your mortgages, your car notes, whatever, tuition, whatever. If you didn't believe in paying debt, then you wouldn't be paying bills today. Where's our money at? I don't want to hear anything from any politician unless they're talking about bread on the table first. I refuse to cast a single vote for anybody unless they're talking about bread on the table first. I don't want to hear about any programs. I don't want to hear about any housing. I don't want to hear about new business ventures. I don't want to hear about anything of that. Cut the check. Everything else we can get on our own. Cut the check. Anything we want in politics, we can buy after that. Cut the check. Joe Biden wants to put up $30 million to give y'all free crack pipes, but we can't get no reparations. I mean, the same Joe Biden that wrote the crime bills, that put a lot of our family members and friends in prison in the first place behind crack cocaine. Now he won't give you crack pipes. This is crazy. But, let's continue on, family.
Slavery was deeply entrenched in the South. But in the North, it was a different story.
The North becomes increasingly mechanized. We see the emergence of a factory system. You have an increasingly industrialized North. There's less need for as many physical hands.
The North do see a slave-based economy as part of the past. It's not where America is moving.
By 1860, tensions over slavery had reached a fever pitch. And things escalated further when Abraham Lincoln was elected president.
Lincoln was morally opposed to slavery. The white South fear that he will use his power to bring about the emancipation of the slaves and the destruction of their entire way of life. This is the point of no return.
Convinced that the government would do all in its power to abolish slavery and sever the institution that drove their booming economy, 11 southern states broke away from the North.
Together they form a new country, the Confederate States of America.
It has its own currency, its own government.
And they make a new flag, a Confederate flag. For the United States, these individuals are traitors. They have torn the Union apart.
The Civil War had begun. It would embroil America in a deadly battle, bringing into doubt its very survival.
The question of slavery will now be settled in what became the nation's bloodiest war.
There is no doubt that slavery was the fundamental cause of the war, but the abolition of slavery was not Lincoln's priority. That was preservation of the Union.
The nation in
You have people crossing.
So, when your children go back to school, or your grandchildren and nieces and nephews, and they talk about Abraham Lincoln, just show them that clip. Hear out of their own mouths where you can see, Lincoln's goal was not to free enslaved Africans, but as we all know here, is to maintain the Union. Period. And the Civil War would not have been won if it wasn't for African American black men and women who fought in that war. Abraham Lincoln was getting their butt kicked, and he went to Martin Delany and say, look, I need the help of black soldiers, and I know that you will be good in persuading them to do that. And Martin Delany said, well, what we getting out the deal? So that's when Lincoln started talking about, well, we'll give you freedom and everybody who fights, and we'll give them this, that, and the third. Right? So again, Abraham Lincoln gave you nothing. Those black men and women fought for our freedom, point blank, and the period.
Those individuals who are now free, you can come and join the union and you can fight for us. This proclamation was a wartime measure. It's a war tactic.
Nearly 200,000 African Americans would answer the call to fight against the South.
200,000 African Americans answered the call. 200,000 African Americans saved the Union. 200,000 African Americans sustained the country. 200,000 African Americans who fought in the Civil War gave you your freedom.
African Americans will now fight for their own freedom.
The Civil War was the deadliest conflict in American history. It was brutal. It was horrific.
After 4 years of savage conflict, the Civil War finally ended in 1865. The Union had been saved, and in a landmark moment, the government passed the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery.
The 13th Amendment is the teeth to the Emancipation Proclamation.
Again, the 13th Amendment being the teeth of the Emancipation Proclamation. Without those black men and women fighting in that war, it would not be United States of America. Period. So when these folks talk about, oh, we wasn't here, we shouldn't have to pay reparations. You wouldn't have a place to come to. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And this is a clarion call to African people around the globe. Fight for your reparations where you are. That's how we make this a united front. Everybody fighting for the same cause against the same common enemy. Not just the European, but definitely the Arab. You cannot leave the Arab. The Arab is still enslaving African people. A lot of people don't want to talk about that, especially a lot of our Muslim brothers and sisters. But I don't give a damn. You don't listen. I stand by the evidence. Period. Point blank in the period. That's it. So you can't have this. You can't even have an argument where reparations is not at the forefront. Where's our money at? Where our bread at? That's right, Sister Marie. Sister Farnessa said, where are the Biden sexuals and the Chucks and Pearls on this crack pipe business? No, they ain't nowhere to be found. Where's Sheila Jackson Lee always running her lips? Where's Maxine Waters? Maxine Waters came out with a huge congressional hearing about the Iran-Contra crack deals. Now you're quiet because the president that you shoved down your constituents' throat is now talking about giving away free crack pipes. That's right, Sister Farnessa. Cut the check. Cut the check. I don't want to hear none of that. Hold tight, Sister Pat. That's right, in the forefront. In the forefront. So let's continue on. Hold on, family. We got a lot more to unpack here. Hold on.
The abolition of slavery is monumental.
They were no longer bound by the condition of their mothers to a life of enslavement in perpetuity.
Finally, those famous words that all men are created equal may finally actually be fulfilled.
The 13th Amendment ensured that African Americans would be forever free. But what it didn't answer was this set of thorny questions about what that freedom would actually look like.
Exactly. And there lies the bait and switch. And still to this day, we still fighting for the same things that our ancestors fought for coming off of the plantation. Coming off of the plantation, we're still fighting for the same things. We're still facing the same injustices to this very day. So I don't want to hear anything from any politician about anything unless reparations is on the table. Even local politicians who are running for office, if the goal is not to get your constituents reparations, then I have nothing to say to you. You can't get my vote. And it's high time that we as Black people stop throwing our votes away all willy-nilly so that it helps everyone else and we continue to suffer. I saw a lot of y'all out there pushing for Joe Biden hard. You was heavy on the gas for it. So afraid of the commentaries and the actions of a Donald Trump that you thought one was better than the other. Not so. Not so. And for all of my Christian brothers and sisters, I say this time and time again. You know, a lot of you allow these politicians to come into the pulpit and speak to your congregants and shove fear down their throats. But fear is nothing without a weapon to fight back. We have to fight back. So I hope you got a lot out of those two clips. I know my brother Ashe is coming in here on a check-in, but also as there's something that me and brother Ashe is going to talk about, and then Sister Marie, we're going to do a little deep digging. You know how we like to do it here on Thorough Black Talk. We deep dive. So we're going to go into someone who comes out of your area, Baltimore, Maryland, as we deal with our topic tonight. Brother Ashe SJ, how you feeling, bro?
Yeah. Good, sis. Everything is great, man. You know, Black History Month, you know, we definitely got to represent. And, you know, I definitely want to touch on this thing with Kanye West. You know, it's a very interesting thing that's going on. He's always in some controversy, man. But in this case, you know, he has this whole thing about Black Future. What is he calling it? Black Future Month or something like that.
Right. Brother Tad touched on it a little bit, but Brother Ashe, you know, what was he really talking about? For those who don't follow Kanye West and don't really know what's going on, give the people a behind the scenes story of what's really going on.
Well, I mean, it's not really much. It's just, you know, Kanye West is a billionaire. He's a multi-billionaire. I think he said he's worth $10 billion right now. And, you know, he has a lot of power. So what he's doing right now is he's trying to coin this term to change the month of February from being Black History Month to now being called Black Future Month. And, you know, his whole narrative and his whole feeling behind it is because when you talk about history, you know, oftentimes it's highlighting the negative things that happen with us. Specifically, you're talking about slavery, you know, so that's what he's kind of highlighting. He said he's tired of hearing that. He's tired of hearing every Black History Month, people talking about how they slaves and, you know, how they this and that, or, you know, you talk about the civil rights struggle where, you know, a lot of our people were abused and damaged and thrown in prison and things of that nature. And it seems like you hear a lot about that. So he's trying to turn it into Black Future Month, which will mean that we talk about what we're going to do instead of just sitting back, you know, being passive aggressive and not doing anything. We're going to actually plan our future. So, I mean, for me personally, I think that he's coming from a good place with it, you know, saying that, you know, we need to focus on our future. We tired of hearing about, you know, the negativity of Black history. But personally, I disagree, for one, with the fact that Kanye West is trying to change the name of the month to Black Future Month. First of all, one is very arrogant. You know what I'm saying? To even sit back and think that you as one person could really do that. Now, of course, like I said, he's very powerful. He's a multi-billionaire. He got a lot of power being a celebrity and things of that nature. So what he says, there are a lot of people that are going to follow. So he does have influence, you know what I'm saying, to make something like this happen, or at least change the minds of a lot of our people to start believing it. But the arrogance comes into me where it's like, dude, you don't even know the fucking, I'm cursing now, look. You don't even know the history of, like, you know, W.E.B. Du Bois, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Carter G. Woodson, you know, Carter G. Woodson, and so many people that really put forth the work for our people to really do this, you know, to have Negro History Week, you know what I'm saying, and have the transition to Black History Month. It's like, first of all, Black history is not just negative stuff, you know. So for Kanye to be coming from it from that standpoint, I think it's totally incorrect, because Black history is every day. Like, we still make history, you know what I'm saying? So to think of history on a negative level, or think of history, and when you say the word history, you're only thinking of things in the past, that's just incorrect. You know what I'm saying? History is current. Current events is history. Future events are history. You know what I'm saying? So everything that's happening right now is history. Even Kanye West being the richest black man in America is history, you know? So to take away from that is negating all of the positive and great things that Black people are doing right now to this day. So the logic behind it, in my opinion, it really don't make sense to change it to Black Future Month. Now, don't get me wrong, I do respect and think it's a great idea to have a Black Future Month, but that should be a different month. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be February. You know, the elders, the ancestors, the people that put in so much work, they created Black History Month specifically because in that time period, people weren't talking about history. They weren't talking about Black history or the events that happened in the past. So there was a necessity to proclaim that month and make it known that, look, we need to start having conversations and discussing history and having Black history taught in the education system. So that was the reason why Black History Month was created. It was to highlight the things that weren't being highlighted. You know what I'm saying? So for Kanye West to come now and be like, oh, we need to change that. Nah, in a way, to me, it's like you negating all of the work that the people did to get this highlighted in the first place. You know what I'm saying? What he should have did was say, you know what? February is Black History Month. Boom. March. Right after Black History Month, we have another month. It's going to be called Black Future Month. Then I would have respected that a lot more. You know what I'm saying? I would have respected that a lot more. The foundation and the structure that the ancestors put in to create Negro History Week and turn into Black History Month would still be there. You know what I'm saying? And you're not spitting on graves or disrespecting none of the ancestors or nothing like that. But then you still getting your point across. And in fact, it's even better now. We got 2 months for us to actually focus and really get right. Focus on the past, focus on the current history, things of that nature, and then focus on action steps, having a plan of things that we can actually do for the future. You know what I'm saying? So somebody just should have really put that in Kanye West's ear. But from the jump, and before I pass the mic, I'm going to say this. Kanye don't have people to put that in his ear. Kanye West is not around real revolutionaries or warriors and things of that nature. First of all, how I'm going to take advice and have somebody dictate what holiday is going to be called for Black people when you're dealing with a dude that don't even date Black women, married and had children with a white woman. Now you telling me that this is the person that I'm going to listen to that's going to dictate the name of Black History Month for us now? Like, he shouldn't even have a platform in front of Black people unless he's talking about something specific that he could do for Black people. But to be a leader for the whole Black race of Black people, dude, like, your next generation is not even Black. You know what I'm saying? And then when his children grow up, because we all know they in the house with the Kardashians, the Jenners and all of them, when they grow up, who the hell thinks that they're going to date a Black man and procreate with a Black man? They're going to go right to the white side. So his grandkids have so on and so. We've seen it with Grace Jones. We've seen it with so many celebrities that outbreed their own goddamn race. You know what I'm saying? They erase.
It's funny you say that. I don't want to stop your thought, Ashe, but in the video that he posted that you sent to me earlier this week, and thank you for that. But he said that his own daughter didn't know she was black until the teacher told her, right?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I'm saying. It's like how and this is the person that we supposed to have as a leader speaking for black people. You making videos where you standing in front of black people where everybody got on black hoodies. That looks cool. But once again, unfortunately, a lot of our people get the wool pulled over their eyes because everything looks cool and things of that nature. Don't realize they leading us right into the goddamn fire. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude ain't got no. I mean, people been questioning his character for a long time. Not even with the Trump joint. Just people talking about, yo, come home. Talib Kweli, Snoop Dogg. So many people like, yo, Kanye West is tripping. Like the way he thinking, the things he's saying, the things he moves that he making. Like you could tell he ain't got no black women in his life. Because a sister will set his ass straight. You know what I'm saying? He even sold out, put it in his song. Oh, when you get on, you leave your ass for a white girl. And that's exactly what he did, right? But this is the person that's supposed to be speaking. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, everybody plays their position. I'm not saying Kanye West being a billionaire, having the power that he has, can't do work for black people. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is play your position and do it right. Tap in. Did anybody hear Kanye West tapping in with any of the elders in the community? The James Smalls, the Leonard Jeffries, you know, the brothers and sisters on the motherland, all in the diaspora. You ever hear him tap in with some real revolutionaries before he made this decision? Or did he just out of egotistical, you know, arrogance say I'm a billionaire and I got this celebrity influence and I got money. So if I don't like something, then I'm gonna speak on it and I'm gonna change it. That's not how things work with black people. No matter how powerful you are, how much influence you have, you gotta tap in, you gotta check in, you gotta get G-checked by the elders, the people that's really been putting in the work. And not even on the level of G-check, like on a disrespect level, but just as Africans, that's how we are, because as a collective, we have to make these decisions for the whole race. It can't be one person making a goddamn decision for the whole race. You know what I'm saying? And of course, not everybody is gonna fall in line and like have the wool pulled over their eyes. Everybody's not gonna be a blind follower of what he's doing, but they are gonna be some people that are gonna follow. I've seen it online already. A lot of people already like, yeah, you know, and they fall, and that's just because they don't understand. They don't have the full, like, they not, you know, on a warrior level, you know what I'm saying, where they've been around and they aged and weathered and dealing with veterans in this movement. You know, we got people that just come in, like we talk about, that have good intentions and they are genuine, but they don't know everything. They don't know exactly how to move, how to, you know, they haven't made the mistakes yet to even be wise when it comes to this movement. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Kanye West is doing. So I really don't know what he's doing, but all I know is he definitely leading us to the fire when it comes to integration, being an integrationalist. You know, I was struggling there, you know, but this is very interesting. You know? So like I said, do that. If you want to do something like that, family, let's do this the right way, but let's make sure we always being respectful and tapping in with the elders, the people that's really making real moves and decisions. And collectively also, Kanye West didn't put no poll out for black people and be like, yo, how y'all feel about doing this or doing that? You know, ain't no committee or nothing like that. It's just the Kanye West, the Ye, that's his name now, the Ye team. He just decided to do it because he got money. So that's how I feel about it. You know, let's just be productive and not be egotistical. But yeah, what you think about it?
Facts. And, you know, like I said, Brother Tad touched on it a little bit last week, you know, and what I said was, don't get caught up in the message, understand the messenger. We have to be careful with that. Me, you, Brother Blacksmith, Brother Tad, all of us who are still students of history understand that you have to look at all angles of a particular perspective, if you will. Who's giving the message? What is the message? What's the end goal? How are we all going to benefit or not benefit from? Now, I do know that Kanye was trying to, or is in the process of developing his own manufacturing facility in Wyoming. And me being a person who comes from the shoe industry, um, I wondered why he did not reach out to those of us who have a background and a history and an understanding of what it is that needs to be done to make that happen. Um, the same mistakes was made by a Fat Farm, Sean John, Rockaware, Echo. So many brands have all 555 Soul, Mecca, they all FUBU, Carl Kanai. You know, you have to come to those of us who are veterans in this business, so that you can make sure that if you are going into the manufacturing process of this, that you can be successful, because this is a gang operated operation in the footwear and fashion and apparel business. This is just what it is. And if you don't have proper backing, um, you will crumble. All of the ones I've named before have crumbled because they didn't understand the inner workings of how it's done. He is not the first person to want to do this. I said sometime before, the son of Bob Johnson, Brett Johnson, tried to do this as well, with the shoe line. Now, when you look at the company that Kanye is working with right now, Adidas is producing his shoes for him, as he being a licensee to the brand. But the company that Mr. Kanye is connecting with to make sure that everything goes smooth for him in Wyoming, they're all Urugu. So how does that benefit us? How does that benefit us? I'm just saying. But if he really understood, because he is a billionaire now, if he really understood the blueprint of being a billionaire and what it is that you have to do to sustain yourself, he would have looked into the history of Reginald F. Lewis, which brings me into Baltimore. Now, I don't agree with all of the premises and things that Reginald F. Lewis did with his life, but I understood the business model and how he tried to hone in on it specifically for Black people until it got co-opted. Now, people know about, digress for a minute, know about Bill Cosby wanting to purchase, I believe, NBC or something of that sort, but Reginald F. Lewis tried to buy Paramount Pictures. Could that be why his plane went down? I have no idea. But anyway, I just want to give y'all a little bit of background on who Reginald F. Lewis was. Hold on, family.
Reginald Lewis definitely was a trailblazer and pioneer. But we have a special title for him. And if you look in Webster or Oxford Dictionary, he was a titan. But he was a philanthropist. He was a freedom fighter. He was a family man. He was an absolutely incredible friend to those in need. And in addition to that, he was very exceptional. There are a lot of firsts in his life. He created and helped found the first Black law firm on Wall Street. He was also the first man to do a $1 billion deal for overseas leverage buyout. He also was the first to think about his next step, which was to purchase Paramount Pictures. He also was the first to be admitted into Harvard University without ever applying. And may I add, the first and the last in its 148-year history. He was a bad motor schooler. That's what we say down south, bad motor schooler. Okay. And I want you to feel free to just relax, engage with us. If you have a question, ask it, even if it's not a question.
So, just a little background on who Reginald F. Lewis was. When he came into this business apparatus, he came in under the law. He studied the law first. You know what I'm saying? He was invited to Harvard without applying because his argument was so in depth. During a speaking engagement, they asked him to come to Harvard. Right? Then he bought Beatrice Foods and some other things, and like you said, to do an overseas deal like that, it was unheard of. And for a black man, definitely to be unheard of. That was his wife, the Asian woman who was sitting on the panel discussion, but that was his former wife. A shout out to Brother Dawa on the check-in. I see you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. So shout out to Brother Dawa. But I say all this to say is, even in being a billionaire, I don't think he understands the history. I don't care how much wealth you amass in this country. If you do not have an apparatus to protect it, you will lose it. Every black Mecca that we had in this nation is gone because there wasn't an apparatus to protect it first. Just think about this. When you see a new store being built, a shopping mall, and you see the construction going on, what are the first things that they hire? Who are the first people that is hired? Security. They put security on the construction site so you don't steal. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't have a security apparatus politically and militarily, we are going to lose everything that we build. And I see so many black businesses right now flourishing. Whole black towns, DeSoto, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, flourishing economically. But apparently you don't know the history. Apparently you haven't understood, you haven't gone that route yet. It has to be protected. So I don't care what future he's talking about. Security is first and foremost. How do you plan to do that? There's a lot of questions on the table. A lot of things look sketchy to me. So again, just a few weeks ago, he was crying about Kim wouldn't let him to the birthday party for the kids. A few months before that, he was trying to get back with her. As Brother Ashe said, you built your career disrespecting black women. But you want black women to honor your mother. Now, how sick is that? I mean, come on. Who are these messengers? You got to be careful with that, family. We got to, look at the whole picture and not get caught up in emotionalism, right? Celebrities have a lot of fanfare. And as Brother Dawa said in the chat earlier, you can't trust none of them. You can't trust them because they going crazy. You know what I'm saying? And they have, like most people, have their bosses just like you got your boss. You got to go to job, got a job you got to go to, a business that you got to partner with, a mate that you in love with or whatever. If it's not protected, you in trouble. You in trouble for real. So that's just my stance on it. He has been known to do some sporadic things, off the top of the dome, and I don't know where these people are who come out of nowhere who just want to follow without a blueprint. And unfortunately, Brother Ashe, Brother Blacksmith, our people get wrapped up in melodic language, and it feels good, it sounds good, and we want to win, as Brother Mike Graves always say, so badly that we will fold to anything. But again, when I opened the program, I started with Professor Truss Graham, and he talked about what the blueprint of history is, how to study it. When you look at those basic fundamental principles that he laid out, There is no way in hell you can follow anybody just by melodic language and think that's okay. Brother Blacksmith on the check-in. What's good with you?
What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up, Sister Keisha? What's up, brother? I say we missed you last week, man. How you doing?
Yeah, brother. What's your take on everything we talking about with this whole Black Future Month and all that? I don't know if you heard about it.
Yeah, I didn't get into it. I heard about it. It's Kanye. You know, you know who? There's every 10 years we get like a what should I call them? A rainmaker. I'm gonna call them rainmakers because at one time it was I'd say the first rainmaker, the first real rainmaker that came into the game was KRS-One, because whether you love him or hate him, he is who he is, and I appreciate, in that regard, I appreciate Kanye just as much. He being him. Remember, I wrote a book exposing the entertainment industry, so you know. He may be in and out of MK Ultra programming and stuff like that. Maybe that's why he's so erratic. Not only that, he's a Gemini. So my mom's is a Gemini. So I'm not. This is not a knock on Geminis. They're radical.
My mother too.
That's just as sweet as they could be, just as like ratchet. So you know.
And the husband is a Gemini. I got it 2 times.
Oh, you got it all around, huh? Yeah. So in my opinion. You know, I love him, man. I love him. He's that runaway slave that we couldn't stand, but we love the fact he got away. Let him be who he is, as far as I'm concerned.
But did he get away?
Well, none of us have actually gotten away. He got away with a whole bunch of bags. You know, at least as far as that's concerned. My personal opinion,
figure out a way to get it from him.
Let me just say this real quick. In my opinion, my personal opinion, I'm going to kind of repeat a little bit of what I said last week. Remember, this whole period in time that we living through right now is all scripted. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, that's all distraction. That's the bread and circus, as they call it. Pomp and circumstance. That's like side issues. Regardless of whether he's for real about his people or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We go into that future that we want to see, and then we can do all the things that y'all was talking about. That's going to become automatic. The line is going to be definitely delineated, straight down the middle. You're going to know who's who, straight off.
Yes, indeed. I can't wait. Because I'm ticked off about a lot of things. But anyway, and some people need to be busted in the forehead. So that's just how I'm seeing it, Black. You already know.
Well, hey, when you were saying earlier you had a clip, I thought you was going to bring out the toast.
I got the spear right there. The spear's right there. Easy. I'm about to grab it in 2 minutes. I'm trying to hold on, Black. I'm trying to hold on. And living in this house with this Gemini, y'all pray for me. Pray for me. But, you know, on to other things. Recently, there's been a lot of protests around the country, in particular Minnesota.
Yes, ma'am.
In the murder and death of Amir Locke.
Yes, ma'am.
For those of you who don't know what's happening or what took place, hold on 1 second. Just hold
on. Oh, man. Oh, I don't want to see this again, but tragic, sad.
Please search for it! Please search for it! Please search for
So again, we have another tragic shooting that comes off of a no-knock warrant in Minnesota, Minneapolis. It's another tragedy, and it's just disheartening that so many black people have given their time and their energy to the Democratic Party, and you can get nothing. And in fact, police are ramping up their tactics in just about every major city. Even here in the city of New York, with Eric Adams and his double talk and backpedaling that he's been doing. Yes, I had to bring out the spear because I got to bring the spear out tonight. I had to bring the spear because it's too much craziness going on. And, what do you say to future generations that we should look past this? Black people suffer from PTSD for real. It is not normal that we see these type of instances and we just go on with life. How dare you not say that black people don't deserve reparations? Where are the lawyers? Where are the psychologists at? The black psychologists and black lawyers. These are the meetings that, these are the people, that should be having meetings with the Congressional Black Caucus, not church pastors, not entertainers, people who are experts in their field. When you're talking about this whole getting rid of black history in school, where are the discussions with the Dr. Leonard Jeffries and the Professor James Smalls and the Malifi Asantes? These are the people they should be having discussions with, not no pastors, not no entertainers. Nobody asks Steve-O, a nut and a former junkie, what should the police department be doing in Ohio, where crystal meth addiction is at an all-time high. Crystal meth death is at an all-time high in the state of Ohio. There's so many deaths that the coroners don't know what to do with the goddamn bodies. But you don't see them on CNN or Fox or anywhere else having discussions with white entertainers about this problem. It's only us, and we allow it. We allow it. Listen, this Saturday, I'm trying to get on the Community Land Trust Board here in the area I live in. These are the things I'm trying to take over around here. I'm not playing any games. I don't want to see Starbucks over here. Why we can't have Better Days Ahead Fitness over here or whatever over here? You know what I'm saying? Why we can't have a Solid Africans Historical Center right here? Why not? That's why you gotta get on these boards. So I've attended some meetings. I've been asked to come out Saturday. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. The takeover is in full effect. I'm not playing. And next month, shout out to the Wilson family. I gotta give it up to my family. We've been asked to give formal testimony on behalf of our ancestor who fought in the Civil War. And the cousins have asked your girl to do the testimony, and I will be doing that at the beginning of next month. I'm not playing. The takeover, listen, I'm not taking these law classes just for my damn health. The takeover is in full effect. I'm not playing. And everybody who's not on board, I'm outing them. I'm outing everybody. That's it. If you want some smoke, I got the spear for you. Come on with it. Come on with it. Because if we don't take care of local politicians, of local political offices, number one, if we don't take control of the land trusts where we live that determine who get to build housing, who get to start businesses, if there's a new police station built, if there's a new army recruiting center built, whatever it is, I want to be in a loop of all of that. And everybody who's not on board, I swear on my mama, I'm outing them. Everybody.
Hey, Keisha, part of you, I'm sure you got the Blueprint for Black Power as a guiding tool as well in your repertoire, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, I
And
just
shout
wanted
out
to throw
again
that
to
in there.
Trust Graham. He mentioned that last night. Because Blueprint for Black Power is not a book that could be read. It is a research document. It is a go-to document. When I'm doing things, I go, hold on, let me get my books. Right here, just behind me, you see about 25 books. There's about another 15 over there on the floor. I'm not going to show y'all that. This office is a mess. But anyway, it's my organized mess. Leave me alone. But everything that I have up here are research periodicals, documentations, and books that I go to often. So that when I'm advocating for us, for you, I know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Calm, cool, and collected, and get the job done. I don't see none of these entertaining folks, Kanye included, even though he did mention in that piece that Ashe sent me that they should take over the local politics. But for whose benefit? Because if he is no more, and he said from his video, Ashe could give y'all the link in the chat later on, but he said that his daughter didn't know she was black until the teacher told her during Black History Month. So if he's no longer around, what is her identity? And later on in life, when she and her siblings grow up, who are they gonna fight for? Mama side or daddy side? It's a conflict of interest. It's the same with these 5 judges that Joe Biden picked. There's a conflict of interest here. And we got to look at things like that and not be ashamed to say it. We don't have to have politically corrected speech. Why? Because we are a special class in this country legally. We are not bound by that doctrine. That's why you got to know the law. But anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox because I know we got a lot more to discuss. Brother Ashe, anything you want to say before we move on to Blacksmith?
Well, I was just gonna say real quick, about what you said about being bound. That touches on the. Remember, I sent you the article. I think it was just a few days ago. They were talking about the Department of Homeland Security. They recently said that anybody that gets caught, whether it's social media, blog, whatever it is online, if you get caught putting out any information that's throwing any type of shade and creating distrust with the government, then you're going to be considered a terroristic threat. Like, it's official. You can look this up right now on Department of Homeland Security. They officially said it. If you up here on social media or whatever it is, and you saying things that's making people distrust the government, the U.S. government, they're going to consider you a terrorist, a terroristic threat. So it's like more and more. I mean, we've been seeing it, but they are trying to take away the power that we have, the things that we say, just putting more power into their media, and really just spoon feeding you whatever ideals they want you to believe in and whatever principles they want you to have. They program it to you, and you can't say nothing else. But when it comes to Black people, it's like, yeah, we should be not, held to those same standards. We should be able to say whatever we want and have our own space where we can do that freely. You know what I'm saying? Because of the circumstances that we have been through, we not like everybody else, like Keisha said. We're dealing with a lot of psychological damage, trauma. We still ain't get reparations. It's so much that we dealing with. So we literally are sick people. Keisha sent a video to us the other day where they had right here in New York City, 2 Black men on a public subway, on the platform, while the trains is operating. 2 Black men, some dude has set up a table. He tattooing another Black man's butt cheek. Literally tattooed. The Black man is laid out with his pants down on the table, getting a tattoo on his ass cheek by another man. You know what I'm saying? Now, people do stuff for clout, but if that don't show you that black people are sick, two grown ass men at that. If that don't show you that black people sick, family, like, I don't know what else you need to see. Like, it don't matter no amount of bag or clout, you know what I'm saying? Influence, whatever you think you gaining, like, to degrade yourself like that in the public, you know what I'm saying? In the eye of a public place where you got children that ride the goddamn subway. You know what I'm saying? And you don't care about none of that. You just up here doing stuff for social media, for likes and things of that nature. It's crazy the level that we stoop to, you know? So I'm just saying we really are damaged people, and we need a real holistic space to really be African and be unapologetic, as some would say, and, you know, really process our healing. You know, our healing is ugly. It's not a pretty thing. You know what I'm saying? So for these people, especially Homeland Security, the government, whatever you want to call them, to say something like that and not even, you know, consider the things that we go through, one, to tell you that they don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Really, they're not considering us at all. You know, we are not on their priority list. You know what I'm saying? And our healing, like I said, it's a real ugly process. You know, we got to get, like Taz say, you know, better days are ahead. But sometimes it's you know, the days don't look too good sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So some days is bad, but then you got to go through those days to get the better days. You know what I'm saying? So we really have to focus on that and just remember that we got to fight for our rights out here, you know? And like Keisha said, a lot of these politicians is just playing the goddamn game and doing things like Kanye just did, where taking, I don't see no difference in that. You know what I'm saying? Doing a video. It's like that video that Kanye did where he talking about Black Future Month. To me, it's like a goddamn commercial. And that's the same thing that you see these politicians do when they doing commercials to rally up, get their votes. Once you get they get your vote, you'll never see them again. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So like, we just have to really make sure that we are focusing on what's really best for us, family. You know, the times that we live in right now, like, we really don't have no time to be wasting. You know, Brother Blacksmith, what you feel about, you know, everything that was said and like what Keisha just shared and everything?
Like I said earlier, everything is playing out. We can't imagine what it'd be like to be in those circumstances and all the control mechanisms that they use in order to keep these. Look, when you sign a contract for more than let's say $1 million or $2 million or whatever the case may be, Megan Good said it, everybody's saying it, you know, you got to sign in blood for sacrificing somebody. You know what I'm saying? So, and then if you ain't did that, you are blackmailed or bribed into doing what you do. And once you do that, they own you. So people gonna play out whatever karma they got inside of themselves until this is over and we can just start anew with everything that we know is coming. Or well, let me say that I think is coming. Let me not speak for anybody else in this case. Yeah.
I feel you.
You know, like we was talking about, like people, like, you know, they capping, like the kids say, you capping right now, you just faking jacks. You know, even with what I sent Keisha, I sent y'all right here in New York City, our mayor Eric Adams. He recently released a document. It's a 15-page PDF. You know, listing out what they call a blueprint to end gun violence. If you're not in New York right now, New York, the gun violence is really high. It's a lot of shootings and deaths. I don't know if y'all heard. Did we talk about that? Where they bodied the police officer. What was that? A week ago, they just had a big parade. Right. That was a week ago, right? They had a huge parade in Manhattan where they shut city blocks down. I'm talking about like thousands of police officers in uniform were just out there. And this fallen police officer that was murdered. What was that? The Bronx, I think they got murdered. They murdered a police officer in the Bronx and they shot another one, but the other police officer stayed alive. Right. But it's interesting because, like, yeah, I mean, we know for a while, not even with just that incident, but like with the other incidents on the previous show, we talked about how they arrested 17 kids right here in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they organized gang that they had did, and like so many others, and so many shootings. Even when we talked about the woos and the chews with that, you know, that was before this 17-year-old thing. But they locked up a whole bunch of other teens that was in gangs. You know what I'm saying? They locked them up by the dozens. You know, so with all of that, and then now with this police officer being murdered, now all of a sudden they putting out a blueprint. But it's like, why y'all ain't put the blueprint out? Did it take for the police officer to get murdered?
Yeah.
But now say, oh, we got to put a blueprint out to end gun violence, because I ain't seen no blueprint when it was just these young teens. Because you know, arresting them actually builds the goddamn quota up. They want, that's what their whole career is based on. Law enforcing the law and arresting people that don't abide by them. So that's how they get their pay for that.
Let me show you something real quick, how white supremacy works. This is what they do, and you can examine it from the 80s. When Dinkins was mayor in New York City, I believe Harold Washington was the mayor of Chicago at the time, and Bradley was the mayor of Los Angeles. Now, being that most black people are Democrats, we're going to all vote Democrats. So those are all black mayors in the late 80s into the early 90s. And all of them got replaced with like straight up devils. Giuliani, I don't know who was one of the there's a Daley, I believe. Is Keisha, is it Daley in Chicago?
Philadelphia.
Yeah. No. In Chicago.
Mayor Daley,
Yeah, in Chicago, and then a guy named Riordan in LA at that time. This is when the gangs was popping and gangster rap was at its peak, and everybody's looking at California like it's just one big gang of you know, just gangs. Everybody's ganged out. And what I'm saying is so what they do is they make they defunded the police 2 years ago, right? And then they come back now, okay, law and order. So now we're gonna arrest all these people that we ain't arrest 5 years ago because we know we letting these guys out. They're young. They're gonna go back to what they know. They're not gonna, you know, very few, let's say, is gonna turn cheek and like get jobs and go to church and be like what society wants you
to, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So you know that you around there every day, all day. You know?
Facts. So this is what we can expect. And they like to put black faces in high places to keep the black community from fighting back. Because, you know, they're more reluctant to cry racism when they see a black mayor or a black police commissioner. Obama. So now it's the new turnover. Yeah, the new turnover. So they're just turning it over, you know, to get you to back off. But be careful in how you move out here. Before we move on, somebody I wanted to give homage to last month, and I didn't. And I think it's very important that we acknowledge people who aren't spoken about in our history and the great strides that they made on behalf of us. Here is a brother by the name of James Padnaugh. Now, I know Ashe seen Padnaugh before. Anybody who's been to UAM, you've seen James Padnaugh before. He would usually be in the front with Miss Maddox, or if you ever going on a bus trip with UAM or the Freedom Retreat, you would see James Champ Padnaugh, an OG for real in these streets, a real one, not no fake one, a real one. I bring up James Padnaugh because when you look at the brothers from the Central Park case, those who were exonerated and given some sort of reparatory economic compensation, if you will. James Padnaugh was the one who led the charge in getting all of the signatures needed down to the city council and the controller's office so that those brothers could receive reparations. Mm-hmm. To this day, you won't hear any of them mention James Padnaugh's name. This is the man that led the charge to get the signatures needed around the city to get those brothers some reparatory economic justice. So there's a little tidbit in history I wanted y'all to know about. You know, Chant was my dude. You know, I have a cousin that I haven't spoken to since I was a child. But anyway, we had contacted after Chant made his transition. And come to find out, he was my cousin's coach when he was a kid up in Harlem.
Wow.
So again, you know, definitely a legend. When you go on Community Cop Show and you listen to Michael Graves, Julian Harper, Noel Leader, and they always say, welcome to the community, welcome to Community Cop, where real truth and talk occurs. That catchphrase came from James Pattenard. So got to give those tidbits of history so that we'll know. So when you look at the scheme of things of the Central Park case, remember James Padnaugh. So I just wanted to put that out there. But as Ashe was mentioning earlier, and then we going back to Brother Blacksmith because he got some things he want to let us know about.
Okay.
But this is what Ashe was talking about. This is the degeneracy and the filth that we see on New York City subways. When you talk about spreading disease, this is a prime example. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's people who look like us, but they have to be outed because everybody who look like us ain't with us. Mm-hmm. And this type of behavior is disgusting. So I just want y'all to see what we're talking about here.
Yo, Keisha, that's a violation.
That ain't Brooklyn, y'all. For all y'all who watching, that ain't us.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Disgusting.
That's crazy.
That's disgusting. Somebody has said that to me. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. This is when I say our people walking around insane, this is insane. Just like you got the stripper poles and the strippers in the park in Philadelphia. In broad daylight, they got stripper poles and chicks is up there doing the show, and you had it right there, Broadway Junction.
Damn.
It's disgusting. Disgusting. But you don't hear no commentary about the quality of life of Black people in these cities. Nobody's talking about that. Because in order to talk about that, you have to deal with the root causes of the problem. In order to deal with the root causes of the problem, you have to deal with the legal premise of the problem. To deal with the legal premise of the problem goes back to reparations. Cut the damn check. See, I know all the games and how it go, you know, but anyway, just so y'all know what we go through on the subways here in New York, you know, pray for us. I want y'all to pray for us. Brother Blacksmith, you sent me some information earlier this week on a couple of things. I didn't get a chance to go through all of them.
It's okay.
Because I've been so busy this week, and plus with homework, it's just been crazy. So give our people a snippet of some of the things you forwarded to me this week.
Okay. The first thing, I don't know if you heard about the Canada situation is as far as the convoys is concerned, is being overshadowed. That situation is overshadowing is that there's been a regime change in Canada. There's a Filipina lady named Romana Dudulo. Y'all can look her up right now on Google or, you know, whatever search engine y'all use. She is now officially the Queen of Canada, and the military is taking orders from her. And that's going to play itself out because I believe that the Justin Trudeau that we seeing now is a double CGI, you know, hologram, whatever, you know, whatever kind of.
Now, who is Justin Trudeau? You know,
Justin Trudeau is the Prime Minister of Canada. So he'd be the equivalent of Joe Biden. And it is rumored that he's in reality is Fidel Castro's son. He had her with I believe the president of Canada in the 70s or early 80s was Pierre Trudeau. and that was his wife. And you know how that go in those upper echelons of those people, reptiles, whatever you want to call them, cabal, Illuminati. You know, they all sleeping with each other, men and women. You know what I'm saying? And it's rumored that Justin Trudeau is actually Fidel Castro's son. And when you look at them, you know, the reason why he don't look like him is because he ain't got no facial hair. But you put, you know, you superimpose a, you know, facial hair on them, they practically twins at that point. Some other things happening behind the scenes is they saying the Sara Jassara is supposed to come. I'm not going to really talk about that because, you know, we've been saying that for years now and it ain't happened yet. I'm going to wait for it to happen before, you know, I'm going to wait to see at least $5 more on my account before I can start talking about that again. So we're not going to talk about that. It's frustrating waiting, especially when you know it's coming. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much, you know, the biggest thing, how could I forget? Pretty much, y'all heard, y'all in New York. So what happened with that city workers who shut down the Brooklyn Bridge 2 days ago? What's going on? Holla at me.
Yeah, they try to downplay it.
All the mandates.
Go ahead.
Overnight.
But you know what, Brother Blacksmith? I'm glad you brought that up because now you're seeing a lot of these governors starting to repel some of these mandates, if you will.
Right.
There have been a couple of, I don't know if you know, in particular, there's one case, I believe it's out of Ohio, if I'm not mistaken, where a young child who was a chronic asthmatic, because of the mask mandates in school, I think he was running up the stairs or something like that. But anyway, he went into an asthma attack and he was wearing a mask that kept sucking in as he was breathing in, and it cut off more of the air supply. And so I believe this could be a catalyst as to why after a while they started requiring or asking people to wear certain masks and stop wearing cloth masks, because they didn't want the facts of this case to get out. In fact, I believe that there was what do you call it, a gag order, if you will, on the attorney and those involved in the case for now, because what they have done is that they have also tied in federal entities who made these supposed mandates, which were illegal. And we said this back in August of last year. We said that these mandates are illegal. But now, as you said, a lot of people were starting to repel some of these mandates. Brother Ray Ray said he was out there. And I appreciate Brother Ray Ray because he goes to the rallies and the protests or whatever, and then he gives me the intel on once he's done. So I appreciate him giving me that information. I'm going to try to get that for you, Brother Ray Ray. But again, like I said, they are under a gag order right now.
Right.
So once it's released to me, then I can share it with you guys. So I don't want to, cause any problems because I want this case to be winnable. Why? Because that opens the door for the rest of us. Right. So remember, stay tuned with Thorough Black Talk because we told y'all right out the gate, this is illegal. These totalitarian laws cannot sustain. The people are going to rebel as they are in Canada. Just about every province is shut down as far as the truckers are concerned. And me being working in a manufacturing field, I'm telling you, you can't get no trucks in and out of there at all. And this thing with GoFundMe trying to seize the money and do whatever they want with it.
Crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you say you're going to give the people their money back. You telling people, nah, we going to give it to him, not the people you assigned it to. What kind of mess is that?
Now, now see, this is why the law is imperative, because you had a law firm that started a case on behalf of the people who donated money.
Of course.
Now, GoFundMe wanted the people who donate money to fill out these long forms that was hard for them to get in the first place, right? Then you're going to tell them, as you said, we're going to give it to whoever. That's not what I donated it for. If I donate money for Ashe to run Solid African, I expect him to run Solid African, not by the Brooklyn Bridge. That don't make no sense.
I heard a radio show, right? That white guys. I heard a radio show that said that everybody who donated to the truckers should instead of taking the money back, consult their bank and don't let them give it back and make it a chargeback, because they get a $34 fee for each chargeback, because they what they did is illegal. The people donating just donate. They're not, they don't have an agenda other than to give these people their bank. Yo, here's your bag. I'm done. Go out there and fight for us. You know what I'm saying? Nah. So now, instead of taking your money back, if that's what the option is, do a chargeback. So on top of you getting, if you donated $50, they get a $34 charge on top of not processing the money to go to who it's supposed to go to. You could break them right there like that, because you're talking about millions of people who donated to that fund.
That's crazy. It's crazy. But again, family, the tangle webs we weave, stay up out of it. I'm trying to tell you, as Black always say, you stay out of it and let the ride go. Because these people are batshit crazy, excuse me, and y'all getting caught up in the shenanigans. And then you wonder why things are happening, because you're voting for it, unfortunately. And now, as you said, as Trudeau now trying to backpedal, now that the people are pushing towards him, now you want to backpedal. I saw him on Valuetainment last week, or a couple of days ago, rather, trying to backpedal. The same way Eric Adams is trying to backpedal. He had all that tough talk when he was in that meeting with them cats from Black Lives Matter or whatever the hell they from. He had all this tough talk talking about the police department and white police officers. And then when he got checked on it, he backpedaled.
He ain't ready for that job.
No, he ready for it.
Nah.
Let me tell you, anytime Pat Lynch give you the fist, you ready for it. That means you in the pocket already.
Yeah, okay. If in that case, yeah. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a hot summer for Black people. Please get yourselves ready for what is to come. I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
Remember here on Thorough Black Talk in August of 2020, I did an animated skit where I said that is illegal. And now that you see that it is, Fauci changing his tune. First you had to get the vaccines, then you had to get the boosters, then you have to be masked up. And if you get the vaccine, then you'll be all right. But now that you got the vaccine, you still got to wear the mask. And if you wear the mask and you get sick, you got to be quarantined for 2 weeks. Now it's not 2 weeks, it's down to 5 days. Now they thinking 3 days. This is crazy to me.
Hey, Keisha, let me go on something you was talking about from the beginning of the show. How you gonna smoke through your free crack pipe with a damn mask on? It's going like at least half the smoke. Come on now. I want my crack pipe.
The mask mandate in New York was actually just lifted today.
Okay, well, when I said that the governor put the ban on, I believe, on Tuesday night. Yeah, like tomorrow, y'all don't got to wear no mask no more. Or 2 days ago, whatever. Yeah, it was a few days ago. Yeah. No.
Now, what's the difference between last year this time and now?
The vaccines.
Let me tell y'all something, family. Please always stay tuned into Thorough Black Talk. Follow us on Instagram, because we be giving you that real. And I got to play it because, yes, we said it in 2020. This is illegal. Hold on.
Can someone please tell me, where is the Democratic political representation for their constituents that don't want these vaccine mandates? I mean, do we not have a voice? What about the right to choose? mandate, take away choice. I believe this is illegal.
Facts. 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 It's illegal. So, now as Brache said, the mandate for masks have been lifted as of today, and I still ain't going back to Planet Fitness.
Hey, Keisha,
I'm
let me
not
ask you.
rocking with no business that was ride with the mandate. None. It's a wrap.
Let me tell you something I found out maybe 2-3 days ago. Somebody had put that mandates are actually edicts that come out of the Blue Lodges. That's what a mandate actually is. And you know who got to follow that. So when, again, going back into the entertainment field, before you had to be an academic or like some CEO or whatever in order to get your 3rd degree Mason. I'm talking about the dirty Mason. I'm not talking about they are good. They are Gnostic Illuminati Masons. But what I'm saying, as far as if you dirty, when those type of laws come out, you have to, if you in a healthcare worker or, in that chain of, hierarchy in health or, police or any hierarchy that's usually based on fraternal brotherhoods and sororities type sisterhoods, you got to follow order and you got to do it as told without any, talking out the side of your neck. So, on the internet saying, oh, I had to work today, I had to do this and all this and that. You got to do it. So these are the people that we actually, that's the 10%, in other words. The 85 is the masses. Most of them just do what they told. They ain't making no smoke. They ain't trying to hear nothing. They ain't trying to say nothing. I just want to keep my job. Them people. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no trouble. I want to keep my job. Those people. That's why I'm who I am right now, because stop stepping to me with this. Am I going to get the jab? Because I'm not doing it. Like, we don't need to have this discussion again. Well, let's cut all that out. I'm not, you want to joke, bring breakfast to the job and have everybody come around the water cooler for 10 minutes and, talk about the virtues. I'm out of here. I'm going back to work. That's what I'm going to do right now, because I'm not trying to even hear that right now.
It's interesting because, like I mentioned earlier about the whole Department of Homeland Security saying that, you could be a terroristic threat. Now, you are a terroristic threat if you say stuff about the government, things of that nature. Right. But it's interesting when we talk about that too, right? With the whole snake bite, because remember, a big story right now is Joe Rogan. What's going on with him?
Come on, Ashay.
Good question.
You know what I'm saying? They're trying to ban him and cancel Joe Rogan and all of that. And then on top of that, now this other controversial thing popped up with him using the N-word. Now they just doing in this file. Yeah. Because now it's like they got out one of their own, because they don't play that. They said, if you coming against us, even if you look like us, we gonna out you. So right. Now they digging in this hit because of the first incident. Now they're digging in this history and finding old videos of him using the N-word and things of that nature, and they putting it all on blast. But this is what happens. Like, they really try to make people stop using their voice. They take away whatever form of income or platform that you have, whatever thing you got, they take it away, because this is how they control it. And with this snake bite, it's only one way, and it's their way or the goddamn highway. If you're not doing that, and it's crazy because I know a lot of our people in our audience that don't, necessarily subscribe to it, have conversations with people like in your everyday life. You bump into some people, you have a conversation, and you just say one thing about it, and then you already see the split between y'all two now. Y'all, and then some people, they just feel like, let's just not even talk about it, because I feel, I feel like it's just so controversial. You're gonna end up not even having a relationship with that person no more, whatever kind of relationship that is. But then even if you say, let's not talk about it, you still split in between that. Even if you say, oh, we're not going to talk about it no more. Because now that person looking at you different, you look at that person different, and you already feel some kind of way. They feel some kind of way about it. So how genuine is that relationship where you can't even have a real conversation as adults and still be respectful You know what I'm saying? But come some kind of solution at the end of it. It's like you just got to go your way. When somebody said that, it's just like you go your way and I go my way, and we split up on that. You know, but yeah, I'm not gonna be. We shouldn't be surprised when we start to see more and more people that have these platforms that their platform are just being taken away, and it seemed like some higher power is coming from them to out them. You know what I'm saying? Even like another thing we didn't talk about, and we got to talk about this maybe next week too, with our brother Blacksmith, because I want to hear his take on it. But like, with Facebook, remember just recently they lost a whole bunch of money. I don't know what that was about, but the stock, they said it was the goddamn biggest stock plummet in U.S. history. They said, I think it dropped 26%. That's the biggest.
One day, yeah.
In one day in U.S. history.
I believe the reason why that happened, Ashe, is because, you know, right now I'm in jail, you know, and just about everybody I know that's real been spending a lot of time in jail lately. And so now I'm going to mix that and the Joe Rogan thing because that has a correlation there. When you start censoring people and now you got billions of platforms out there, what people going to do? Trump is about to come out with his Truth Social in March, in about a month's time or so. So people not necessarily canceling their Facebook accounts, they just not going there no more because they always in jail, especially if you talking like what we talking right now.
Yeah.
And we ain't even saying nothing heavy.
Right.
You feel what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I feel you. You know what? I think we should discuss this next week and really go in deep with it because I'm tired to be here too because I want to hear his take. Because what I'm talking about specifically is when it comes to Facebook and all of that. Remember, and I know you know about this. Remember, Facebook changed their name to Meta.
Right.
The Meta. So now it's all about the metaverse. So I want to talk about that as well because from what I heard, who Meta was in history or something like he was like an evil person or something like that. I heard.
In Hebrew, yeah.
And then,
I think it means killer in Hebrew, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it's something. I got to do some more research on it, but that's what I heard about it. And then also just the whole level of this new metaverse, what this is. Like, I'm just not tapping in trying to learn about what it actually is. But from what I'm hearing, it's like a more physical version of the internet, they're saying. And it's like, instead of, you know, if you got to do a call with your coworkers or something, but you home, you would log into your avatar. And then all of y'all avatars would have a virtual office that you go in and you could like talk and communicate with you being represented as your avatar in the metaverse. So it's like a new dimension or something that we create, you know, and it's all named after this devil, Meta, whoever that was. You know, it's interesting.
It sounds like an online straw man. That's all that sounds like.
Yeah, and you're gonna have all of these people who adapting identities that you don't know. A lot of people, unfortunately, Ashe, are wrapped up into this virtual world. And now you ain't gonna know who you talking to. Because now I can buy skins and be who I want to be. You know what I mean? And meta means death in Hebrew.
Yo, that's like remember the movie The Schwarzenegger Total Recall?
Yeah.
Remember that point? Great
movie. Yeah.
It was like fat lady and the suit just opened up like and then the dude stepped out of the fat lady suit. Like now your avatar, you don't even matter what you identify with your gender, what you identify with. Because when it first started showing that online, Facebook and Instagram, they showing, oh, he, she, and them. That's what you identify with. You are he or you are them. I don't know what the hell that means. But yeah, now it's like you don't even have to say what you identify as because now in the metaverse, you literally are that. And nobody will know what you really are in the real verse or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? So you can just fake jacks all day, you know, but without it, like we got to keep this conversation going next week because also it's a level of control with this thing that, like Keisha said, is horrible. People are caught up in this virtual reality. But it's a gift and a curse at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's a gift because even if you look at just like all the apps we got, if you look at Uber Eats, you can get your groceries delivered. You don't have to do nothing. They come to you and like everything. It's like, it's a convenience, but it's also taken away from us. You know what I'm saying? Because the things that we naturally know how to do, we don't have to do that no more. You know, and then like we just said, like with the crazy faking Jackson, you know, all of this craziness. But at the end of the day, I feel like these people that are creating all of these metaverses and all these other dimensions of technology, I feel like more and more we just getting our control taken away from us, you know, in relation to like this whole Joe Rogan thing. And you know, because remember, they know that a lot of Black people specifically are making money this year in 2021. I think record, I don't have the data in front of me, but like it was record numbers of Black people that quit their jobs and became entrepreneurs. And that's because of online social media marketing, selling products, services, and things of that nature.
Right.
Being your own business. A lot of Black small owned businesses were created in 2021, 2020, and things of that nature. And now what I'm seeing is a lot of people that I know that have Black owned businesses, entrepreneurs that utilize social media, they are specifically being what they call shadow banned now. You know what I'm saying? And all of these Black entrepreneurs can't make their money now because social media is specifically limiting their views. To even DJ Envy talked about this on a Breakfast Club. If y'all didn't see it, it's a Breakfast Club interview where you could Google it. DJ Envy was saying that himself is shadow banned, and he's a host of the goddamn Breakfast Club, one of the biggest podcast talk shows out right now. You know what I'm saying? He said he's shadow banned, and like none of his or half of his followers don't even see the post that he put up. So imagine what that's doing to a small Black owned business that predominantly sells online. You know, but it's the control. So now with this metaverse, they're gonna control it even more now. So the people that are blinded and have the wool over your eyes, they seeing that, oh, not only are people making money.
Come on, Ashe.
Not only are people making money, but they seeing that, oh, you got a big ass influence and you can control people's thought just by putting your own narrative out there, like Joe Rogan, Kanye West, so many other people. Like
Whoopi Goldberg.
They say something and then everybody is gonna follow it, and that changes the whole culture. So now they limiting that. So now when you in the metaverse now, they controlling every goddamn thing now. So it's a gift and a curse, family, but it's mostly a curse, man. So it's very interesting. We gotta keep building on this topic. What you gonna say, bro?
What I was gonna say real quick, Ashe, is this. I've spoken on this before last year, not more in our more recent shows, because you know I don't want to get caught up in going you said it was gonna happen this day and all that. Yeah, I don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying in the near future, I believe, this is me, that we already know that the economy is already in the shambles. It is done. We know that. Whether you know how the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Mint and all those people that create wealth or money or whatever you want, because actually create wealth, because money isn't wealth. What I'm saying is there's a system coming on board called the quantum financial system that's going to replace all of this stuff. It has nothing to do with cryptocurrencies or any of that. It's going to be a quantum system that's based out in space. This is what Space Force came on board for, so that everybody will have an equal chance in life, as well as the Nassara laws coming into effect where everybody has money. I believe that's coming soon. I'm not trying to convince anybody to agree with me, but I'm saying that's the stuff I'm researching, and this is why I respect, a lot of people think, because I love Trump, that I don't see his faults, and he has some, but I respect what he's doing, because when you ask Black people, how did he harm Black people as a whole, they can never give you an answer. If you don't want to say he helping us, you can't say he harming us. I'm talking about en masse. I'm not talking about particular Black people here and there and what have you. He's against the deep state. I believe he's a part of the Gnostic Illuminati that we spoke of a little while ago. And so he's the lesser of two evils. He is JFK 2.0. He's here to finish what JFK started.
Yeah,
and if you know the real, let me pause 1 second, because I just thought this 1 second. If you know the real reason why JFK was killed was because he wanted to get rid of the Federal Reserve and the CIA. He said he was going to smash it into 1,000 different pieces. So, you know, they forget about all this other stuff with Khrushchev and Cuba with the missile crisis and all that other stuff. He got killed because he was trying to make the playing field a little more level so that, you know, the dollar was backed by silver, not gold. Because by that time, I think he already had removed it off the gold system. And that happened right after the Great Depression or before the Great Depression. Then it was based on silver. And when he saw what they was doing with the manipulation and the speculation, he said, "Now we're going to get that, and we're going to call it the silverbacks." Y'all can research that. That's not something.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Okay, thank you, Keisha.
That's a fact.
Okay, I get off my soapbox.
I think people don't really understand who controls all of the tax revenue. So maybe one day, even next week, we might be able to touch on that, so that we can bring it full circle with everybody. But, you know, another thing that a quality of life issue that really disturbed me, riding New York City subways, of course. I swear I hate it here. But anyway, you got this kind of foolishness.
Non-monogamist?
You got all of these placards all over New York City subway, the non-binary, monogamous, you know, do whatever you want to. Men kissing men, group sex, looking acts. I mean, this one right here is a group activity. There are children who ride the subway.
Yeah.
So when Eric Adams talk about the quality of life, start right here on the MTA where you was at. Where you was out there panhandling for votes. All of this was going on. Did you not see that?
Wow.
So you got stripper poles at the junction. This kind of messaging that's all over the subway. You got people getting body tattoos. This is crazy. This is nuts. So you're worried about catching COVID from somebody who isn't vaccinated or masked, but not these freaks out here. All right. Go to Williamsburg.
Wow.
And see all of the white trash laying out there on the ground. Just on the ground. So I don't know why he continues to gear his commentary to black people, you know, in the city. When he talking about the gang violence, yes, we have all of that. But you also have these quality of life issues that stem from white folks. Because we didn't put these billboards up there. That's for daggone sure. I can guarantee you that. Let's deal with these quality of life issues. He's talking about in the 15-page plan, I believe Ashe sent to us earlier this week. He's talking about mental health issues. How to deal with these mental health issues ethically, if you will, instead of manhandling via police apparatuses. However, the quality of life issues is a pretext to mental illness. I'm trying to hold on to my sanity by seeing all of the craziness that goes on in these streets.
You're doing a great job, Keisha. You're doing a great job.
I'm not.
You're not. Okay.
I think I need a shot of rum after this. This is what it is. This is what it's come to. We all trying to maintain our sanity here. And then you have the government squeezing the life out of free speech.
Yes, ma'am.
Squeezing the life out of the citizens to fight back, how they fight back. And please, I don't want to come down on protesters. I don't. All of it is Sister Pat, you got me saying Ray and nephew. You see that? Anyway.
Hey, that's overproof. I got stories about that stuff. Don't talk about that, please.
We keep that in this house. That's my husband COVID remedy. That's his remedy for anything. But anyway, get back to what I was saying. All of the craziness that is going on in this city, and nobody wants to deal with the quality of life issue because it goes back to the trauma that Black people are forced to deal with here. and not just here, but in every major city.
Mm-hmm.
It's chaotic. It's chaotic. So, I can't wait for next week to get double tagged into this. Go ahead, brother Ashe.
A trending, I just read today, a trending topic again is Adele. I don't know if you heard about what's going on with her, but she's
what's going on? Go ahead, Ashe.
See, the thing is, this level of control, like how they control everybody, and they specifically control us because we are the biggest threat to them because they know what they owe us. But this level of control that they are creating even backfires on them and their own people. Often, I mean, like we said, Joe Rogan, so many other people. But right now, even with Adele, so a hot topic with her is she's recently being shunned and possibly, I don't think they're going to really take it to that extreme, but there's talks of canceling her now because she was at an award show recently that was quote unquote gender neutral friendly. I had to Google it and look up what it meant, gender neutral friendly. But it was an award show that she attended and she accepted an award. And in her speech, she said, quote, I am great. Or what she said, I'm proud. I'm paraphrasing. She said, I'm proud to be a natural woman. That's her whole comment. She said, I'm proud to be a natural woman. But being that it was at a gender neutral friendly award show, just her saying, I'm proud to be a natural woman. Now they trying to cancel her and say like, oh, she's not sensitive. She, this is gender neutral. And now you're trying to shame the people that are not natural women and things of that nature. So they're trying to cancel her right now. So the level of control is crazy. You can't say anything with these people and working in their system. You can say whatever you want if you're free. You know what I'm saying? But then, like we said, with social media, they still trying to limit you and do things of that nature to control you. But at least you free, you can still say what you want. But when you in their system and they places where they own and operate, they gonna control your ass. It don't matter how big you are. Adele is like the biggest artist when they come to these devils. That's like one of their Elvises right now. Her and Eminem.
She's like they Celine Dion right now.
Exactly,
Yeah.
So the fact that they talk about possibly canceling her, it tells you, you know what I'm saying? So we just got to be aware of like what's going on and how they are. And because the level of the notch of this is going to get turned up even more and more. And right now you can't say, especially if you're a celebrity or influencer, whatever you got, but anybody, no matter who you are, you can't say you can say it, but they are going to try to stop you from saying anything that they don't agree with, that don't fit their agenda. And it don't matter who you are. So like Keisha was saying earlier, Kanye West, Ye, it don't matter how much money you got. He do the wrong thing, they cancel his ass in a second too. Come for all of that money. All of them billions. You know what I'm saying? So, and 10 billion is nothing in comparison to some of the money that these high rollers out here got. You know what I'm saying? So 10 billion is great. I commend them for that. But it's people that got a lot more money than Kanye and they're looking at him like, yeah, you little N-word, you finally get some, you know what I'm saying? But don't poke your chest out too much, So it's not all about the money. Like people, we get egotistical with think, oh, I saw a video and I respect it to an extent, but a video where somebody has said, yeah, Kanye West, and now you're a billionaire. He was like 10. He was just funny. It's a funny video. I don't know if y'all saw it. He was like, Kanye West, you're a billionaire. He was like 10. He interrupted the guy. He was like 10.
Wasn't he begging Zuckerberg for $1 billion about 5 years ago? Not even 5, like 2-3 years ago, it seemed like.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, these are the things, man. So we gotta stop taking certain things for granted. If you got a voice, don't be afraid to use it. But just remember, even with this snake bite, all of our conversations come in to full circle. Whatever don't fit their agenda, they are going to try to come for you. Terroristic threat. Remember before, this just sounded like a repeat of what, last year or 2 years ago when they were saying that the black revolutionaries, or what were they calling us now?
I wanted to touch that real quick. Black identity extremists.
Yeah.
Right. So let me say this to you real quick. As far as that very interesting point, Ashe, thank you for bringing it up again. you got to understand, in 1967, the term conspiracy theorist was created by the CIA to discredit people who knew that what happened with them. It's funny that I'm going right back to almost to the same situation I last spoke on, who was saying that Kennedy was killed by the U.S. government and his whole administration was complicit in it. And then we know that the CIA was formed as a result of the OSS, which were the Nazis who came over to this side of the world after Operation Paperclip, when it was said that they lost World War II. Now then you have our favorite people who created a term called anti-Semitic, which is a totally misnomer in any form of the word, because they're not Semites. Yeah, we're gonna go back to what Whoopi said last week, or a few weeks ago, what we talked about last week, as far as she didn't lie, just like Nick Cannon didn't either. They don't say that no more, because if she's one of them, they can't say it. They gotta say, oh, you're racially insensitive, because now it's how they base it on race and not what we said. Because she's a Jew, so they can't say she's an anti-Semite, because she'd be talking against herself. And it was true what she said. And they got all kind, and now they redefining words like virus, endemic, pandemic. It's basically what they're doing is they're changing the goalpost. So right today is like here, and next week is over here, and next week is over there. So every time you learn how to kick the ball in the right angle, they change it again. So now you got to keep practicing. You just wear yourself out chasing them, man. It's like chasing rainbows.
Facts.
So,
This
interesting
morning,
point, bro.
ABC News suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks in response to her inflammatory remarks about the Holocaust. ABC News President Kim Godwin saying in a statement, effective immediately, I am suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks for her wrong and hurtful comments. While Whoopi has apologized, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. The entire ABC News organization stands in solidarity with our Jewish colleagues, friends, family, and communities.
If you're going to do this, then let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race.
On Monday's show, the host of ABC's The View inaccurately claimed the Holocaust was not related to race.
It's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about. Whoopi Goldberg.
Goldberg appearing to double down on the Colbert Show that night.
The American experience tends to be based on skin.
Yes. And so that is what race means to me. Mm-hmm. When you talk about being a racist, I was saying you can't call this racism. This was evil. Mm-hmm. This wasn't based on the skin. You couldn't tell who was Jewish.
So again, controlling of free speech. But as I said last week, when you try to control the speech and the right for people to protest, and these are some of the things that the forefathers of this country spoke about and were in fear of, in particular James Madison and Alexander Hamilton, who talked about the totalitarian of big government. And they were right. And this is why the Second Amendment follows the First Amendment. And I see it coming. Unfortunately, I see it coming. This is worldwide. When you try to control the narrative of a society, they are going to push back. The insane are running the asylum.
Yes, ma'am.
And those of us who know better, who always knew better, as Brother Blacksmith says, we are the ones who are all knowing. And they are going to come for us. They keep coming for us. I just got out of FB jail.
Yeah,
it don't make no sense. But anyway,
Keisha.
Go ahead, Brother Ashe.
I wasn't on last week. I know we about to get off the show about the end, but I wasn't on. But I just wanted to add my little 2 cents to that too, because by that definition, right? First of all, this is what we seeing is also not just discipline that they're giving Oprah, but we also see in a struggle for power when it
Oprah
comes to
Whoopi. You
You
said Oprah.
Whoopi, yeah, they look. I don't know. They're the same person. I don't know. Oprah, Whoopi, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, when you see these guys, when you see this scenario, we also looking at a struggle for power with these acidics. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I say that to say, like, they are trying to state the claim that they are a separate race. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, then Nigerians and Ghanaians and everybody else in Africa are different races. You know what I'm saying? And the people that are just African Americans versus the people that, you know, are born in Haiti or, you know, say Black Native Americans or whatever, these are different races. You know, we could say that same argument. So it doesn't make sense for them to say that, but what they doing by putting her on 2 weeks hold where she can't speak and all of that, taking her freedom of speech, they doing that to still promote the narrative that they are a different race and they are separate from the other, you know, Caucasians and the Anglo-Saxons and all of these other people. If that was the case, I mean, they created the race in the first place, Black, white, and all of this. But now they trying to double back, like Keisha say, and now this specific person, a group of people, is a specific race from everybody else. You know what I'm saying? That don't make no sense to me, yo. Nigerians, Ghanaians, wherever you from, like, that's the Black race. But at the end of the day, you know, I guess it's semantics to an extent, but it's not when they defined it. And now, but this is what they do. When they have power, they can define, redefine, like Blacksmith said, even with the words and the language, they redefine it and changing it, and they keep moving the goalposts whenever it suits their benefit. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I wanted to add to that. But yeah, I know we about to close out.
Yeah, Brother Blacksmith, your last comments, questions, or concerns until next week.
Just hold tight up there. I believe we, you know, we at that point where, like, we learning how to drive, and like the person that took you to your class is getting out and you getting in the driver's seat. So just hang tight, continue loving and respecting each other. You know, my name on Facebook, y'all, for those of you out there who don't know me or, you know, or coming in for the first time, my name on Facebook is Flavius Jones. I believe Sister Keisha's going to put my information in the chat box for y'all. On Facebook, you can hit me up, Flavius Jones. I'm in jail right now. So in the event you send me an invite, don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm in jail and I won't be able to. I think I'll be out in about a week's time. As well, I got the blog www.goodchiba.blogspot.com. I got books on deck. Just get in touch with me if you want anything from me. Let me know. We'll get it done. And I love my people right here. I missed Tad. Last week it was Brother Ashe. We're gonna get it in on the foursome next week, Tip. So with those words, I'm out. Peace, y'all.
Yeah, yo, it's crazy because that just goes right back to what we were saying, bro. We didn't even realize they were setting up the metaverse before they even named it the metaverse, because you in Facebook jail. Now, what is that? That's another dimension. I'm just listening to you. I'm just like, I'm in jail. I'm in jail. I'm like, wait, hold on, brother. But you in your house, you in your crib, ain't you? Damn, that's a nice ass jail you in.
Hey, I say last week, Brother Tad said, let me find out you really a clone.
This is your avatar. We talking a Blacksmith's avatar right now in the metaverse, but he is in the metaverse in jail. Not in real jail. He's free in the real jail. But in the meta world, he's in jail. So the metaverse, this is the craziness we're dealing with, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I like that.
Crazy, bro. It's gonna get a lot worse, man. But yo, it's your brother Ashe. It's Jay signing out. I just want to hail up. I don't think we got to say, but Layla Africa's birthday was like 2 weeks ago, and then in another week or two is Amos Wilson's birthday. I know y'all was talking about the blueprint for Black Power.
Yeah.
His birthday is the 23rd, so we definitely got to honor him. Huh? What you said?
February or January?
No, this month, February.
This month. Okay. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So that's coming up. So we definitely gotta do something, talk about him and honor him. But yo, Black History Month family, remember, whether it's Black future, Black past, or whatever, it's Black history. You know what I'm saying? So let's strive every day to make our own history within your family history, your neighborhood history, the world history. You know what I'm saying? Whatever power moves we making, that's all history, family. No matter how minuscule or large it is, you know, everybody play their own position, and let's get this freedom. It's your brother Ashe SJ signing out. Sister Keisha.
Again, thank you all for tuning in every week with us. We'll be Black again next week. Shout out to Dr. Filet and New Day Liberation Radio, always supporters of Thorough Black Talk Worldview. Shout out to the Community Cop family, the History Hitman Michael Graves, and the legal assassin Noel Leader, always showing us love and appreciation. So we give it right back to you again. Stay in tune with Thorough Black Talk so that you can catch the next episode of B.K. William Mackey Study Group with Professor Truss Graham. And I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. So again, family, my brother Tad is not here, but as he would say, there's always better days ahead. We out, y'all. Good night.
Peace.